Imagine this. On a quiet street in a London suburb, a cat has been sitting on a wall for hours, watching everything. An old man walks by using a strange lighter-like device to click out every streetlight on the road, one by one. And then, minutes later, a flying motorcycle descends from the sky, carrying a giant of a man, with a baby cradled in his arms. That baby would grow up to become the most famous wizard in the world. His name is Harry Potter. Today we're breaking down only the very first film, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone 2001, scene by scene, character by character. No sequels, no spoilers from later movies. Just this one story, the one where the doors of Hogwarts open for the very first time. So grab your wand, because this journey begins in a nursery, where a baby survived, and the world changed forever. In this video, we'll cover Harry's tragic beginning and his life with the Dursley family, the Hogwarts letter and Hagrid's dramatic entrance, the magical shopping trip through Diagon Alley, the Hogwarts Express and the sorting hat ceremony, school life, Quidditch, friendships, and first enemies, the mysterious forbidden third floor corridor, and finally, the full truth behind the Philosopher's Stone. Whether you're watching for the first time or you're a long-time Potterhead, there's something here for everyone. Let's start at the very beginning. Privet Drive. The story opens with Professor Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts, and Professor McGonagall, who transforms from a cat into a person, a rare magical skill known as being an animagus. Together, they're setting a plan in motion, leaving a baby at the doorstep of number 4, Privet Drive. That's when Hagrid arrives, the half-giant groundskeeper of Hogwarts, riding a flying motorcycle, carrying the baby who has just lost his parents. His name is Harry Potter. Dumbledore explains that Harry's parents, James and Lily Potter, were killed by a powerful dark wizard named Lord Voldemort. Voldemort had tried to kill Harry too, but the curse backfired, weakening Voldemort himself, and leaving Harry with nothing but a lightning bolt-shaped scar on his forehead. This baby will now be raised by his only living relative, Lily's sister Petunia Dursley, and grow up as a normal child, far away from the magical world. Time jump. 10 years later, Harry is now 11 years old, and his life is anything but normal. He lives with his uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, and cousin Dudley, but not in a bedroom. He sleeps in the tiny, cramped cupboard under the stairs. The Dursleys constantly ignore or scold him, because deep down, they know he's different. One day at the zoo, something strange happens. A glass barrier vanishes and a python escapes, right after Harry seems to talk to it. This is our first glimpse of Harry's magical ability, Parseltongue, the power to speak with snakes, though at this point, Harry has no idea what it even means. Soon after, a strange chain of events begins. Letters start arriving at the house, which the Dursleys hide, burn, and tear up. But the letters don't stop. They arrive by the hundreds, pouring in through the chimney, the windows, everywhere. Panicked, Uncle Vernon drags the entire family to a remote island, hiding out in a crumbling lighthouse. And there, on a stormy night, someone pounds violently on the door. The door bursts open, and in walks Hagrid, filling the entire doorway with his massive frame. He hands Harry a cake that reads, "Happy birthday, Harry," because it's his 11th birthday. It's the first time anyone has ever remembered it. Hagrid then reveals a truth that changes Harry's entire world. "Harry, you're a wizard." Uncle Vernon erupts in anger, but Hagrid shuts him down and reveals the real story. Harry's parents didn't die in a car crash. As the Dursleys always claimed, they were murdered by a dark wizard. And that same wizard, Voldemort, was destroyed the moment he tried to kill baby Harry. That's why, in the wizarding world, Harry is known as the boy who lived. Hagrid hands Harry his Hogwarts acceptance letter and makes a promise. Tomorrow, he'll take Harry shopping for everything he needs for school. The next day, Hagrid takes Harry to a small London pub called the Leaky Cauldron, where everyone recognizes Harry instantly and reacts with awe. Because in the wizarding world, every child knows his story. From there, they step through a brick wall, which Hagrid taps with his umbrella, and it opens into an entire magical marketplace, Diagon Alley. Their first stop is Gringotts Bank, run by goblins. Here, Harry learns that his parents left him a small fortune. During this same visit, Hagrid secretly retrieves a small package from a different vault, something he calls Hogwarts business, top secret. Then the shopping begins. A wand, robes, books, a cauldron, and a pet, a snowy owl, whom Harry names Hedwig. The most important scene of this segment happens at Ollivander's wand shop. After trying several wands, Harry finally finds the one meant for him, made of holly wood, with a phoenix feather core. Ollivander shares an intriguing detail. That very same phoenix gave one other feather, which sits inside a different wand, the wand belonging to Voldemort. This detail becomes significant later. While in Diagon Alley, Harry also meets a pale, arrogant boy in the robe shop, whom we later learn is Draco Malfoy. Their very first conversation is already tense. Draco carries himself with a sense of superiority and looks down on muggle-born wizards, those with non-magical parents. At King's Cross Station, Harry is confused about how to find Platform 9. That's when he meets the Weasley family, a large, financially modest, but incredibly warm wizarding family. Their mother, Mrs. Weasley, shows him how to walk straight through the wall between platforms 9 and 10. On the train, Harry becomes friends with Ron Weasley, also a first year, and someone who spent his whole life in the shadow of his older siblings. Their conversation gives Harry, perhaps for the first time, the feeling of being treated like a normal friend rather than the boy who lived. Also on the train, they meet Hermione Granger, a muggle-born witch who has already memorized nearly every spell in her textbooks. She was searching for Percy, Ron's older brother, and his missing toad, and immediately corrects Harry and Ron things like Ron's smudged face and an incorrectly cast spell. During the same train ride, they run into Draco Malfoy again, this time with his two bodyguard-like friends, Crabbe and Goyle, and he insults Ron's family. Harry stands by Ron, and this moment lays the foundation of their friendship. Upon arriving at Hogwarts, the students are led into the Great Hall for the famous sorting ceremony. A talking sorting hat is placed on each student's head, and it decides which house they'll belong to: Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw. Draco Malfoy is immediately sorted into Slytherin, continuing a long family tradition. Hermione is sorted into Gryffindor. Ron follows, joining Gryffindor just like the rest of his family before him. Then it's Harry's turn. The sorting hat deliberates inside his head, and in a striking moment, tells Harry he could do well in Slytherin too. But Harry silently pleads, not Slytherin, and the hat finally announces, Gryffindor. Here, Harry meets nearly headless Nick, the Gryffindor house ghost, and gets his first look at Hogwarts professors, including Professor Snape, the potions teacher, whose gaze immediately sends an uneasy feeling through Harry. Harry senses instantly that Snape dislikes him, and his scar even burns painfully the moment he looks at Snape. Now, actual school life begins. Harry, Ron, and Hermione gradually form a tight-knit trio, despite some early friction. In classes, we see Professor McGonagall's Transfiguration lessons, Professor Flitwick's Charms class, and Professor Quirrell, who teaches defense against the dark arts, a nervous, stuttering teacher who always wears a turban. The standout moment of this segment is the flying lesson, where students learn to ride broomsticks. Neville Longbottom falls and breaks his wrist, and Draco steals Neville's Remembrall, throwing it into the air. Harry leaps onto his broom and pulls off a stunning aerial catch, witnessed by Professor McGonagall, who is so impressed that she immediately makes Harry the Gryffindor Quidditch team's seeker, the youngest player in a century. This section also includes Halloween night, when a troll gets loose inside Hogwarts. Hermione, who has been avoiding Ron and Harry after overhearing something unkind Ron said about her, is hiding alone in the girls' bathroom, unaware of the danger. Harry and Ron rush to save her, and the three of them defeat the troll together, with Ron casting his now famous Wingardium Leviosa spell to drop the troll's own club on its head. After this event, the three of them become genuine, inseparable friends. This is also where the first Quidditch match takes place. Harry loses control of his broom mid-game, and it seems like some kind of curse is at work. Hermione notices Snape staring intently at Harry's broom while muttering something under his breath, and assumes he's the one cursing it. She rushes over and sets fire to Snape's robes, breaking the spell and giving Harry back control. He goes on to catch the golden snitch in his mouth, winning the match. Slowly, the trio discovers that something is being hidden inside a forbidden corridor on the third floor. By accident, they open a door and come face to face with a giant three-headed dog, later revealed to be named Fluffy, standing guard over a trapdoor. When they ask Hagrid about it, he accidentally lets slip that the dog is guarding something belonging to a man named Nicholas Flamel. Researching in the library, the trio, thanks to Hermione, discovers that Flamel is the creator of the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary object capable of turning any metal into pure gold, and of producing the elixir of life, which grants immortality to whoever drinks it. The trio suspects someone is trying to steal the stone to bring Voldemort back to full strength. Their suspicion falls heavily on Professor Snape, especially after they notice his leg was once bitten by Fluffy. Around this time, Hagrid ends up with an illegal dragon egg, which hatches into a baby dragon named Norbert. The trio helps Hagrid secretly send the dragon away, through contacts of Ron's brother Charlie. But in the process, they get caught. Draco Malfoy reports them, and Harry, Ron, Hermione, and even Draco himself are sentenced to detention, a night in the Forbidden Forest. In the forest, Harry witnesses something deeply important: a hooded figure drinking the blood of a unicorn, an act that grants temporary strength at a terrible cost, leaving the drinker's soul forever damaged. The cloaked figure attacks Harry, but a centaur named Firenze saves him. Firenze hints that the hooded figure is Voldemort himself, surviving by drinking unicorn blood because he remains in a permanently weakened state. Convinced that Snape is about to steal the stone, the trio tries to warn Dumbledore, but discovers he's left Hogwarts, lured away by a fake message, suggesting this is all part of a trap. Harry, Ron, and Hermione decide to protect the stone themselves. They sneak into the third floor corridor, put Fluffy to sleep using harp music, and drop through the trapdoor. Below, they face a series of magical obstacles designed by the professors. A devil's snare plant that wraps around them, Hermione remembers it fears sunlight and casts a spell to free them. A room full of flying keys, where Harry must use his broom skills to catch the exact key that unlocks the next door. A giant wizard's chess set, which they must play as living pieces. Ron sacrifices himself in a bold move so Harry and Hermione can continue. A room with an already unconscious troll. A logic puzzle where Hermione must figure out which portion allows safe passage forward and which sends them back. After this puzzle, Hermione has to turn back, since the portion only allows one person through, and Harry continues alone into the final chamber. There, in a twist, Harry finds not Snape, but Professor Quirrell. It turns out everything the trio suspected about Snape was wrong. Snape had actually been trying to protect Harry all along. The moment during the Quidditch match wasn't Snape cursing the broom, it was Snape casting a counter curse to save Harry. Quirrell then unwraps his turban, revealing a second face on the back of his head, Lord Voldemort himself, still fused to Quirrell's body as he tries to regain his full strength. The stone has been hidden inside the Mirror of Erased, a magical mirror that only reveals the stone to someone who wants to find it, not use it. Harry looks into the mirror, and the stone magically appears in his pocket, because his intentions are pure. Voldemort, through Quirrell, demands the stone, dangling the false promise of bringing Harry's parents back. When Harry refuses, Quirrell tries to grab him, but the moment his hand touches Harry's skin, it begins to burn. It turns out that Harry's mother, through her sacrifice, left behind an ancient protective magic Martin, one that activates the instant Voldemort or his vessel makes contact with Harry. This is Lily Potter's sacrifice-born love protection. Harry loses consciousness during the struggle. Harry wakes up in the hospital wing, with Dumbledore sitting beside him. Dumbledore explains that the stone has been destroyed, with Flamel's permission, so no one can ever steal it again. He also clarifies that Snape never intended to harm Harry. He had, in fact, always been protecting him, due to an old promise that isn't elaborated on just yet. At the end of Year Feast, Gryffindor is trailing behind in the race for the House Cup ASR until Dumbledore awards last-minute bonus points to Harry, Ron, Hermione and Neville for their bravery. The points given to Neville are especially emotional. He had tried to stop his friends earlier, misunderstanding the situation, but stood his ground out of loyalty. These final points push Gryffindor into first place, winning them the House Cup. The film ends with Harry, Ron and Hermione boarding the train back to the Muggle world, with Harry wearing, for the first time, a genuine smile, because he's finally found a place where he truly belongs. And that's the complete story of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The journey of a lonely orphan boy discovering his identity, forming lifelong friendships, and facing down a hidden villain, all within a single school year. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, which house do you think the Sorting Hat would put you in? See you in the next video. Until then, mischief managed.